And mind you, I was still caught up in that nightlife lifestyle, with the drugs and the substance abuse and stuff like that. But after embracing Islam, I realized what my purpose in life was. It was to worship Allah. It was to try and please Allah and to just live a life according to Islam. But but because I still had this these certain bad habits and that sort of environment that I was still caught up with, I started bouncing back and forth between, you know, trying to practice Islam, going to the masjid, and also I had my first Ramadan, which was, it was great, it was amazing. I was fasting and going to the masjid pretty much every day. And the mosque that I was going to at that time, they would have iftar, the breaking of the fast, every single night for free. There was food there, and it was packed. Like, I mean, how packed it would be for a Jummah, the Friday prayer. It was like that every single night. The masjid, Subhanallah. So there's like 1,000
Mm.
people. So that as my first Ramadan and meeting all these new brothers and hanging out a lot, like it was a really great experience. And so I felt something, the whole spiritual aspect, I felt that a lot, you know.
Mm.
And but after Ramadan, I relapsed. I went back into that sort of lifestyle, back into that nightlife. So I was really struggling in that sense, and also because I couldn't pray at home and things like that, that was an issue. I was only really praying at the mosque, and it was just like stages. It was because, after I became Muslim, I started to develop that, God consciousness, as we call it, taqwa. And so I'd have these, everything haram that I was doing, I knew that in the back of my mind, it's haram, it's sinful, I need to get away from it. And I always had that intention. So there'd be stages where I'd go to the mosque and meet some lovely brothers there. I'd look forward to going to there, be in the masjid, pray, read Quran just in like translation, stuff like that. But then I'd go back, right? I'd go back to that lifestyle, go back to that circle of friends. So I was just bouncing back and forth doing that stuff. And I think it was close to like 2 years that it was like that for me. Um,
Were you still living at
and
home at that time?
Yeah, still living at home.
And
And
during that Ramadan, you managed to fast and break your fast in the masjid and all that, but you were doing that in secret.
yeah, yeah,
Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Um, yeah, subhanAllah. And yeah, so just trying to think where I was up to. So yeah, Alhamdulillah, it was amazing that time in Ramadan. Um,
So you were
and
struggling
obviously, like,
between going back and forth between these two different type of lifestyles. So did something happen to
yeah,
make you, I mean, like, is that still where you are now, or was that a while ago? How has that
yeah.
changed, and did something happen to make you make a decision to step away from that, or did it happen over a gradual period?
Yeah, it was like a gradual period, but then it became sort of like an instant kind of thing because of something that occurred. And so basically, so I was having problems at home. So I actually there was a stage where I left home and I stayed with a roommate, a Muslim roommate. But and I was practicing Islam more, but at the same time not 100%, like not really being steadfast on like praying 5 times a day. And my roommate, he was sort of like 50-50. He wasn't that like very practicing either, but still like would go to the mosque for like Isha Salah and stuff like that. That would be like a sort of a habit. We'd meet other friends there and stuff like that. And then I ended up going back to my home. So I can't remember how long that was, maybe a few months or something. And I was actually planning to just to stay then, to not go back home. But then my mother started to become really sort of depressed and saying some things to me. and I was in a position where, like, I should go home. I should go back home because she was really in a bad place. And that was because of me. It was because of, obviously. And so I ended up going back, and then after a while, yeah. So what happened was is